Another response to another Facebook thread calling for drivers to unionize. Here is the thing. What if I told you that you can't? We cannot legally unionize in this country. We do not have collective bargaining rights, and I'll tell you why. Because those are reserved for people who are classified as employees. We are not classified as employees, we are classified as independent contractors. Think of that what you will, but we cannot, it is impossible, it is illegal for our drivers to form a union. What we should be doing is if we're unionizing on anything, it should be using that little decline button on the upper right hand corner of every offer. That's the only way that these guys get any particular message. That's the only reason why these offers continue to come in so poorly is because drivers continue to accept crap offers. They continue to lose money voluntarily and write checks to Doordash and Uber Eats. Now, with that said, we need to start using the decline button a lot more often in order to get the message. The other part of the problem is a matter of economics. Even if drivers could unionize, the union could be broken very quickly by Uber and Doordash. Very easily done. It's not going to be, they wouldn't even have to think about it or even break a sweat. The union would be broken almost immediately after it was born. And here's why. As I've said before on this channel, the barrier to entry as a delivery driver is almost non-existent. There is almost no barrier to entry. Anybody with a driver's license and a vehicle can do this. It doesn't require any specific experience, does not require any special degree, doesn't require any qualifications or certification above and beyond a driver's license. And given how many people can get driver's licenses, it means that for all intents and purposes, anybody can do this. There's no special requirements. Even as I continue to search for a W-2 job at this moment, there's certain experiences that you're required to have for most of these jobs. You're mostly required to have at least a 2-year degree, if not a 4-year degree. Doctors are required to have medical degrees. Lawyers are required to pass the bar, in addition to having a law degree. These are things that take 8 years of schooling and special examinations in order to obtain the qualifications for these jobs. That's why they're paid so well. The delivery companies continue to pay. The bottom line is driving is unskilled labor. I don't care what your opinion is. It's unskilled labor. And it is work that does not require any specific qualifications. Anybody can do it. Anybody with at least a driver's license, which includes almost everybody in the U.S. adult population. They have the leverage because of that reason. The only leverage, and I will say this again, that drivers have is the decline button. You cannot legally unionize independent contractors. There's just no route to do it legally in this country. So, hate to break it to you, but you cannot do it. Cannot do it. A union would not solve the problems anyway, even if it was possible, and even if they couldn't snuff it out immediately. Here's the problem. Unions are a collective effort. I cannot see a lot of drivers wanting to pitch in any type of effort to managing or running a union. Many drivers have already shown that they are trying to work in a job with no qualifications really required to do it and put as little effort into it as possible. If drivers were willing to put in the effort to operate and work in a union, they would be willing to work their markets as drivers and put in the work to gain information on the markets. But no, instead you guys are out here posting questions, trying to get the lazy answer and being lazy. Lazy people do not succeed in unions. I know quite a few people who have been in municipal unions in my time, teachers unions, government unions. They all have to go to meetings and they all have to actively participate. I cannot see drivers doing this. For this reason, a driver's union would fail, even if it was not immediately squashed by the delivery apps. It would immediately be squashed because anybody can do it. The unionized drivers would be replaced faster than you can say Dara Khosrowshahi. A union would not work. It cannot work. It's illegal at the moment. And drivers are not willing to put in the work to maintain an effective union. They just aren't. The proof is in these threads. Drivers are too lazy to work their markets. They're not going to put in the effort to be in meetings and to actively participate in a union because they don't actively participate in researching their markets right now and making the most money that way. They don't put in the work that I have in Forest Lake, Minnesota, to understand the ins and outs of this market. What places you accept, what places you don't accept, what the market wait times are, what the restaurant wait times are, what the experiences are with staff, how the market moves, what the hours of demand exist. I know these things. I put the work in. Most of you drivers don't. You're too lazy. You got into thinking that would be easy money. And of course, the business has changed so much that it no longer is easy money. And so you think that this union is going to save you. Newsflash, even if it were to hold, a driver's union will not save you. Now, if you're too lazy to put in the work to know your market, you're also going to be too lazy to put in the work as a unionized driver. And again, with the level of entry being so low in this work, we could be replaced within days, if not hours. The companies will not miss a beat. A union could be busted in less than 24 hours by Tony Zhu and Dara Khosrowshahi. They wouldn't even have to break a sweat. They could go home to their mansion and their minions would do it for them. It would be easy. One of the easiest union busting jobs in the history of mankind. And this in a world where we have Frank Lorenzo at Continental Airlines do it. So that said, a union's not going to save us. The only leverage that we have as drivers is the decline button. Start using it. That's going to result in these crap offers, money-losing offers. They will stop doing it if they stop getting accepted. But by now, you all know the reasons why most drivers accept it. They're desperate to maintain their precious platinum privileges, which again are not really privileges. It costs you more money to be platinum than you get from being platinum. So that is it for now. So yes, what if I told you a union cannot work, a union will not work, drivers don't have what it takes to be in a union, and it would be busted in less than 24 hours. So that's my spiel for today. You folks have a good weekend. I'll talk to you later, and as always, peace out, homies.